As Rachel and I were discussing at the beginning of this hour, tomorrow the House of Representatives will vote once again on another bill that will provide billions more in funding for small business after that program ran out of money last week. But one small business owner who has already received aid through that program is warning about how easy it is for companies to exploit that program. In an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal, Pete Vegas, who owns a food manufacturing business with about 200 employees, details how the terms to qualify for a loan amount to what he calls legalized fraud. He writes, quote, "From what I've observed, the Paycheck Protection Program is completely flawed and will function as a handout to companies that don't need it. Billions of misspent dollars will never be paid back. This program creates, even encourages, conduct that would normally be considered fraud." Joining our discussion now is Pete Vegas. He's the owner of Sage 5 Foods in Boulder, Colorado. Mr. Vegas, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Tell us about how easy it was for you to get this money, and did you have qualms about it when you realized, as you looked at it, and had the feeling yourself that you didn't deserve it?
You know, I was notified on Friday that we had been approved for the loan. I had 2 days to decide whether to take it or not. So I spent the weekend concerned about whether I should take the money or not. The issue being that if I didn't take the money and my plant shut down a few days later, as you're now seeing with a lot of food plants, then I could have 200 employees, out of work, just like everyone else. So I took the loan. There's a statement in the loan that's very vague in the loan application, and it's really the only one that you have to sign off on. It says current economic uncertainty makes the loan request necessary to support the ongoing operations of the applicant. So, that's a very vague, broad statement. In my case, there's clearly uncertainty. There are many reasons that my plant could go down. A virus could run through the plant. I could have supply problems. It's just my markets could go bad. I've already lost a lot of my markets that go into the restaurant change, what we call the food service business. So I applied for the loan. I literally had a day to decide. Between Monday was my day. So I took the loan. The real issue is not so much that you take the loan. The real issue is how easy it is to have the loan forgiven. Once you have received the loan, there's really, as written today, no requirement to pay it back. And that's what I'm trying to bring to people's attention, that this is something that needs to be corrected.
Yeah, and you do make the point in your article that as of the time you were applying for the loan, your business was actually doing very well, and it hadn't really suffered at all. There was nothing really to that the loan, no losses that the loan was going to replace or help you with. And I've studied the requirements for this too, because I've been shocked at who qualifies for it, how easy it is to qualify for it, and that issue that you referred to on the payback. It's very clear that the way this is written, most recipients are never going to have to, even be required to, pay back these so-called loans. These are really gifts.
That's correct. Once you have the loan, if you basically use 75% of the money to pay for employees, if you have the same number of employees still working 8 weeks later at the same salary levels, then you're entitled to have the loan forgiven, even though you could potentially have made money during that whole time and never suffered any problems. So it's basically a giveaway to companies that may not need it, that end up not needing it. I could do $3-4 million a year.
What would you do to try to correct this? If you could rewrite the program, what would you do?
Well, they need to put wording in that people cannot benefit or profit from it. There are many ways to do that. They could say they can't show higher profits than they did last year or higher profits than they did during the coronavirus. But there needs to be some sort of wording that if you really didn't need the funds to keep your business afloat and to keep your employees hired, then you should be obligated to pay the loan back.
Pete Vegas, we really appreciate your honesty about this and joining us tonight. We want to revisit with you as these weeks go by to see if that loan actually did become necessary for your business. We'd love to have you come back and discuss it. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks.
Thank you. And when we come back, new polls show Americans want to stay in the safety of their homes, and that Joe Biden has a significant lead over Donald Trump in some battleground states, and that's in a Fox News poll. John Heilman joins us next.